So this is the second time that I've actually videoed this location. The first time was in another video on my channel called No Running. Supposed to be a joke about not running around the pool, but might have been missed by some people, I'm not sure. Just so you know, all of the footage is captured here. None of it has been color graded except for the DJI drone. So you're seeing exactly what comes right out of the camera. The Ace Pro was the first camera that I bought in order to start videoing for my channel. I used it inside the car, I used it outside the car, mounted on the windshield, mounted inside the windshield. For all the shortcomings that many of the YouTube channels mention, like the 6 foot minimum focus distance and other issues that they bring up, none of those have affected my use of the camera at all. And I have to tell you that all the eye-catching, headlines that they put on all the videos about watch before you buy, just as a notice to all the YouTubers out there, if you tell me that, I'm not watching your video. And I've pretty much established a golden rule about the use of the two types of cameras. The X4s are always mounted to the windshield. The X4s are great for what I use them for. And, I guess the Ace Pro falls in that same category. Primary reason for making this video and going to the same place a second time to do some video. A, it's a pretty place with all the graffiti, a lot of vivid colors, a lot of things to show you the contrast between the normal color profile and the Leica natural color profile. Over the last several months, before the Leica Natural came out in a firmware release, I switched over to flat on both the Insta360 X4 and the Ace Pro to try to deal with some of the violence of the color science that are in the normal color profile. I will argue against myself in this decision, though, to go to Leica Natural. Leica Natural definitely has more of a cinematic view. I'm sure I damage that quite a lot whenever I do color grading on the video, because I don't do color grading. It's just something that I poke at, and it's acceptable. I find my color grading to be acceptable. But switching over to Leica Natural, I've always made the comment to people that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to try to make even if it's a large sensor action camera, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to try to make an action camera look like a, Blackmagic or any other type of cinema camera. But to me, it's a nice balance, right? The Leica Natural Color Profile has a good blend between a cinematic look, a little bit exaggerated, a little overhyped, but with enough dynamic range to where I can kind of pull it to where I want it to go. I made sure I kept a lot of side-by-side video at full screen for both. I just thought it would give you a better view. I recognize that these are two different days, months apart, different seasons, and lighting is completely different than one to the next. I still like the Leica Natural Color Profile significantly more than I do the normal color profile. You still get very, very vibrant, saturated colors from all the graffiti, but it doesn't look unnatural to me like the normal color profile does. The Ace Pro is exactly what I was looking for. I'm a nerd. I spent a lot of time reviewing all the camera options out there before I decided to buy the Ace Pro. I was very close to buying a similar camera from DJI. And I gotta be honest, the low light capabilities of the Ace Pro just finally pushed me over the edge and made me decide to pick this one up instead. But everything about the Ace Pro is incredibly good to me. The audio quality, although a one nit on the audio, I believe you can focus the audio toward the front of the camera, and I'm not sure if I'm running it that way or stereo, but it picks up every breath. So much so that I notice myself holding my breath in certain shots because I just don't want to deal with fixing the audio later. I also made sure I kept the two videos of going into the tunnel underneath the swimming pool separate, so you wouldn't have the switching back and forth thing of trying to watch both videos at the same time. But outside of the audio thing, I love the flippy screen. Probably like it as much looking from above it as much as anything, especially if you're doing shorts. It's just absolutely spectacular to be able to lock it up so you can look down on the camera when you've got it on a tripod sitting on the ground. Battery life is just absolutely unnaturally good. I don't typically shoot above 4K 30. I don't really feel the need. I've shot 8K video, and I don't think with all the compression that goes on YouTube, there's really much of a reason to mess with it. My settings are pretty much as follows. Standard stabilization, 16:9 aspect ratio. Even when I'm shooting shorts, I just still set it in 16:9 or landscape orientation and just crop it. Active HDR is always on. So would I buy the Ace Pro again? Yes, and I would buy the Ace Pro 2 as well. I love that they put a windsock over the top of the front-facing mic, but I believe that the dual AI chips inside the new Ace Pro 2 would make the low light capabilities even better. When I heard how simple the menus were and how easy the camera was to navigate, I was very suspicious. Figured they were just shills for Insta360, but they're not lying. It's crazy simple to operate the menu and get to what you want quickly. I just, I can't really find a fault with the camera, and I don't do vlogging where I'm pointing the camera at myself. So therefore, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing that could be better is the Ace Pro 2. So yes, I would buy this camera over and over again. I would not change a thing. This one just fits my lifestyle and my workflow so well. I love the fact that it's waterproof and not fragile, which is absolutely positively the reason why I did not pick the Pocket 3. I had it in my hands for a month for my kind friends at Sweetwater. So the fact that I have zoom that doesn't suck, the fact that I can stick this in the water, which I do, the fact that it's not fragile, best camera I've ever owned, and it's actually reached the status as almost like a little buddy of mine.